Hi, Carrie Sparks with Empire Title, your Arizona title gal. Today here with Brian Reeve from Neighborhood Loans in Chandler. And we're going to talk about optimism and the news, what you're seeing out there versus what the reality is. And there's no time like today or actually tomorrow to purchase a home. So Brian, would you like to talk about a little bit about the news, a little bit about the optimism that's out there, staying positive and looking at your return on your investment? Because that really is what it boils down to. You have to have a good attitude to come into this and really look at the return on your investment. I know I did when I purchased a home, and I'm glad that you were able to be that person to help me. And when I bought it, I looked at it as a long-term investment of a certain amount of years with a projected amount of equity. And I know that sounds like a business transaction, but it is something I'm doing for my personal finances and to create wealth in my life, in my portfolio. And I'd like to hear what you have to say about that for a return on investment.
Sure. Great. Brian Reeve, branch manager of Neighborhood Loans. So that's a great question. And I think in this market environment, as loan officers, we have to be more tailored to really the genuine interest in the customer and what they're trying to achieve. And so a lot of times you'll have a customer that is just like, oh, what's the interest rate? What is the payment? What are the rates? What are the fees? And that's more of a transactional approach to a buying process. What we really have to do is a lot of customers will have 401ks that they invest in. They may have investments, but they never think about coupling that with real estate. And so one of the fastest ways to gain any kind of wealth or any kind of retirement at a later date is by your return on investment and real estate. Real estate will help you get there faster than any kind of 401k or any kind of mutual fund or anything that you put your money into. And so when you're talking to a financial professional like a loan officer, the loan officer should be able to break down what your return on investment is with that house. Sometimes customers just look at the interest rate and the payment versus what they're paying on their rental, but they're not thinking about that actually being coupled with investments or coupled with getting to the end game, which is when I'm 60 years old, this is the kind of portfolio that I want to have. And so a loan officer really has to break that down and say, look, if you buy this house, interest rates go down, your house hyperinflates by 5%, you can optimize some of your equity. This is where your position is going to be. This is how much equity you have. And this is how you grow your portfolio by buying multiple properties, scaling that, and then getting to that end game faster. And so when is the best time to buy? When is not the best time to buy? And sometimes consumers think that, well, rates are high, I'm not going to buy. And they will pay $300-400 in a 401k, but not realizing if you made that extra payment and a mortgage payment based on rates coming down, what's your return on investment? You'll find out $4,800 at the end of a year of a 12-month period is going to yield you way more of a return on investment than dropping that money into a 401k. And so you really just have to talk to a loan officer that can break down what that looks like. Put the numbers on paper for you. Allow you to make the decision based on being informative of where the market is going, what that means in return on investment, so the customers can make a more better informed decision instead of just, hey, this is the rate, this is the fees, now's the time to buy, because most customers they don't have the other variables. So they're just thinking, well, I'm going to wait for rates to come down. But they don't realize that when the rates come down, the house price goes up, and they're actually at the same payment they were before with the lower interest rate because the house price is higher.
It sounds like you really can break that down for
Exactly.
the consumer, look at what their long-term goals are, and that makes you very different from a lot of people who do what you do in lending. You just elevated yourself with really looking at what their needs are, asking the questions, looking into that. Because when people ask me, and I'm not a realtor nor a loan officer, when was a good time to buy, I always say yesterday, just yesterday. There's your blooper. It's always listening. So, okay.
So you get splice all this, right? Yeah. Like from that last piece. Okay. So right now as loan officers, and where we should be is we should not just be about pushing a mortgage. We should not be pushing a rate or a fee. What we should be pushing is financial advice and investments also for our customers. And we should be able to break down and say, look, if you do X, Y, and Z, And loan officers should be connected with a financial advisor. A loan officer should be connected with someone that manages portfolios, someone that manages a lot of money, that will take lower returns on investment. And you couple that together with the real estate buying process, and then we're helping the customers get ahead in life, not just a transaction. Not just, hey, I got a low interest rate, I got low fees, and then you're moving on. Loan officers should be a little bit more engaged in giving, the overall explanation of return on investment and connecting the customers with the right people that are going to help them get there.
As somebody who actually has worked with you in the past, I can say that you do consistently stay in a space where you're keeping me up to date on my property. You're telling me through some of your systems like HomeBot, but also just talking to me through some of the questions I come to you with about my properties. And, what should I do? How can I do this? You are, for me, I look at you as a consultant as well. On top of you do mortgages, but you are really somebody who can help me with my financial plan when it comes to this part of it and making sure that I continue to grow my portfolio, which is something I've never experienced with another lender that has worked with me personally in the past. And I kind of just go from that perspective of, I appreciate that. I appreciate the fact that you are there, you're available to ask questions of, to be my guy, and everybody needs to have a guy or a gal, but I go to you for that, and to go and pick into the marketplace, look at that return on investment, look at those different, situations, sometimes life-changing events, and going, what if I did this? What if I did that? And being able to, you listen to me. You break it down with me and ask me the questions so that I can make the best decision for me. And I appreciate that, Brian, and you. So
the other piece to this is that not only should just be a transactional thing. When customers come in, we want to be able to provide a service in terms of connecting with the right financial planner. We can do personal budgets for customers. We can tell them how to structure their money, where to put it, and put them with the right professionals that are going to help them get ahead. And we do all of this. Like, we do personal budgets. We do who we're going to get with a financial planner. We're going to break down their return on investment. So it's more of an overall life decision instead of just a transaction.
I love that. The fact that you can provide that to somebody by having them just give you a call, if it's somebody you already work with or somebody you haven't met yet, they can give you a call. So I appreciate talking about this with you today, Brian, and your level of professionalism and knowledge is just outstanding.
Thank you, Carrie. Brian Reeve, branch manager with Neighborhood Loan, 602-741-4801. Thank you.